Hey, what's up, guys? I really wanted to make today's video about something I've been thinking about. Self-analysis, self-analyzing, understanding yourself. That's something I ignored, I neglected. I didn't try to look at who I became. I never spent time doing that. I never looked at myself in the mirror to see how far I've come. All I ever thought about was how bad I was, or how bad I think I am, or how bad people have told me I am. So that's all I was ever thinking about. I didn't really spend time to look back ever. I never really sat down. And I'm making this video because anybody who is in that same place in life, you need to take a pause, right? You got to take a pause to see all the things that you built on. You know what I mean? There's so much you've seen, so much you've been through, so much has changed, all that stuff. And that's something I didn't particularly look into. I was like, oh yeah, I'll do that later on. Or, my own problems were like, oh yeah, I don't, I'm never good enough. I'm never good enough. I'm never good enough. Oh yeah, I'm just going to lie to myself and tell myself I'm good. And, I kind of didn't like those type of people when I was growing up who all they talked about was how good they were. And I was like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear this. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be anything like you. But the thing is, they actually had a good point. Meanwhile, they were doing it maybe excessively too much, and maybe they were using it to put themselves on a higher level. You do need to do that with yourself. You do need to see, look how much better you've become. Look at the things you used to do and what you do now. You know what I mean? You gotta say oh yeah, I remember when I used to not be able to drive. I used to ride a bike. Now I drive a car. That's something that's worth talking about. Cause not everybody knows how to get a driver's license. That's something that's incredible that you went out of your comfort zone to go and do, and you worked for that. You worked to get that driver's license, and that's just one simple thing. I'm talking about something very common. For me particularly, I had an issue where I couldn't talk in front of people. I was always nervous, always self-conscious, always worried what people were gonna think. I couldn't even show my true colors because I was always trying to fit in. I was always trying to fit into what they wanted me to be. I always try to walk the way they walk, talk the way they talk, or just not talk at all so they could accept me. And until recently, or in the last decade or so, I started speaking my mind. I'm very opinionated. If something's not correct, especially about me, I'll correct you. Especially so, before I used to just be okay, yes, and then just kind of be this people pleaser, or yeah, I just want you to accept me. And then I realized over the time that those people never accepted me, and those people aren't here anymore. You know what I mean? And the people who stuck around were the people who got to see and meet the real Muhammad. You know what I mean? I knew a guy in college. His name was John. I used to go to school with him, and this kid he used to hang out around a lot of the popular kids, but me and him had a lot in common. You know what I mean? We had similar backgrounds. Our parents were from the state, were immigrants who came, and it was just he got to see the true me. And you know what I mean? And until now, it's been probably 15, 17, 18, I don't even know how many years I've known the kid. From time to time, we're there. If I see him, I say hi to him. And in that case, and only some people got to see the true me. And besides all that, that's not really why I'm bringing this up. Is because a lot of those times I wasn't looking at all the insecurities that people projected onto me, and I believed it. All the negative thoughts and perspectives that I had about myself based on the small setting or the small environment that I was around. Meanwhile, the world was such a big place, and what I ended up doing was I ended up traveling to explore that, to get myself out there, to put myself in different conditions and see how the world really seems. You know what I mean? Not what I thought about growing up in southern Brooklyn. That's not what it was. That's another thing. Another thing was, a lot of the things that people around me were telling me about myself, they were lying to me. You know what I mean? Just to make themselves feel better about something that they had. And I would believe in it. Innocent, vulnerable Muhammad is just there listening, like any other child listens. You know what I mean? But I never sat there and took the time to reflect and seen how far I've come. And these things are so important because, you know what it is? It's because sometimes you hate that about yourself. You hated that about yourself, and you put so much fucking effort and work to get to the position that you are now. All that work, all that hard work to mold yourself to be this new person, and it's time to take in consideration all these accomplishments. And I never did that. You know what I mean? And it's very, very important. And it's kind of it's dues. It's the dues that we have to pay, and the dues that we have to pay is also that we need to look inwardly and see how much we've gotten better. And I'm talking about it, take it from the most minuscule thing ever. And I know it's gonna be hard to believe. I get it, especially if you come from a background where you were very low self-esteem. You put yourself down, the people around you put yourself down. It's very hard to rise up and believe in that you are good enough, that you actually did a lot of good things. You know what I mean? The ability that you have in you, that you could grow as a person, ability that you could get things that, you know, people in this world could only dream about getting. Yes, you. Yes, because I did it. I did that. And I never thought I could. You know what I mean? I've done things that other people never thought that they could do, and probably will never do, because they never will put themselves out there to do it, because maybe they don't feel like they're good enough, or someone's telling them they're not good enough. But you know, I did it, and it's time that I take into consideration all that good stuff I got to do, and take it in and grow as a person. And I hope anybody listen to this video take something. You know what I mean? Because you're good enough. You're good enough for anything that you want. So take care, believe, but you got to put the work in. You can't just look in the mirror and tell yourself all this stuff that I just said. You got to find inside yourself. Take the littlest things in life and build on it. Like if you were able to go to the bathroom today and not splash too much water outside the sink like I do, that's a reward. Be like, oh look, today I didn't do that. And then you'll notice that you'll use that as your small building block, and then you'll build bigger and bigger blocks on bigger things about yourself, until you got to really see who you are from a more honest, truthful, respectful, clearer perspective than ever before. Take care. Enjoy.